G'day, welcome to our second attempt of Drop Bears, a solo playthrough. Today we are playing with the board game Backer, and his special ability this game is to choose a single die rolled by this camper. You may change the initial result to a result of your choosing. And just so if you haven't seen the first place roll the rules, over here is our wound tracker, and over here is like our stress tracker. If we get to the top of this, we become unconscious. We fall anywhere between this red zone, we panic. We roll a d6, and that we run blindly in that direction. However, the wound hits this skull over here, we do die and succumb to the drop bears. And considering we are playing a solo playthrough, this is our score tracker here. And we cannot exceed more death tolls than the number of players. So since we're playing a one-player game, I can't afford to lose one camper. However, I'm going to make sure that I have 7 survival points at the end of the game. And to start this game, we've got to bring out the base camp tile here. Put our little 2 campers here, and let's flip over and see who is going to be our first drop bear to enter the scene. In this case, it is a Scar. Big burly looking guy, this one. And the game starts. The moment this drop bear lands onto the base camp, we roll a d6. In this case, I'm rolling 2, 1 for Bluey and 1 for the board game the tabletop gamer. Here is Bluey here. He's got 3 special abilities. One is to follow his nose. He's a programmable character, so I set the program and he plays out in that sequence. However, he still only has 2 action points, and he's got a handful of free actions that we can use both on this base card of this card and also on his profile card here. Rolling the 2d6s, we have 2-2, so it looks as though they're all going to the same place. This is not necessarily a bad thing so early in the game. However, I do want to separate them, because if a drop bear does target the board gamer or Bluey, and they're both on the same tile, they both actually get attacked at the one time. So it is in my best interest to separate them. We draw another tile. Hopefully it's a endeavor. So we draw a tile for each of those, unless they go to the same tile, and then we draw another tile, which is our endeavor tile. And in this case, upside down. We can roll 4 dice or another 4 or higher to complete this endeavor action. We get this nightfall activity up here, plus this survival point if you're on the tile. So we can place this anywhere that we want to. And the tabletop gamer is the first one to play, so I am going to. And you do have this nice handy little reference card to let you know what the free actions are. What happens when you do panic, which we're likely to cover later, and you can take 2 actions in the course of this game. Now, no 2 same actions can be taken twice. So I'm going to immediately scout and get away from the drop bear. In the early stages of the game, the drop bear has a radius of 1 space. So I want to try to get some distance on the drop bear. However, later in the game, in the dark phases of the game, here, he can only move a space of 1 range, but however, when the night goes on, he's going to get hungrier, and he can move up to 2 spaces during the drop bear phase of the game. That is another endeavor tile, which isn't helpful for me at the moment. And sorry, before I grab that, I'm going to do a run action just to build up on the board a bit. So here, another one over here. Wow, a lot of endeavor tiles. So. And I didn't run over any terrain tiles, so I don't cop any wound. But however, because I did run, it did raise my heart rate up just a little bit. So, maybe I could have done an endeavor tile on that one with a 3+. Yeah, that's okay. Now it is Bluey's turn. And I can let's get 1 and 2s. He is also going to do a scout action. And he's also going to do an endeavor that I should have done when I was playing. So over here, he's going to go over here and do a scout action, and he's also going to do a endeavor. So we're going to roll a single dice here, and in this case, he got a 6. So we completed one of them. I'm going to cover the 4+ over here, and that is the end of our turn. Oh, sorry, I forgot to actually give us each a survival point. The start of our turn. Now it is the drop bear's turn. He can't actually target any of us because we're too far away for him, so he's just going to go back to his profile card over here. Waiting to drop on us later in the game, gives us that little bit of reprieve. Moving back, the first play token now goes to Bluey. And he is going to do another endeavor action. I'm going to go over here and do an endeavor action over here. And then he is going to do a scout action. I want to see more and more of the board if I can help it. So first let's do the endeavor action. He completes that endeavor action. So that is now a X. And, well, it pays to read the card. In this case, it was actually Camper heals 2 wounds. He doesn't actually have any wounds. So it pays to read the card before you decide to actually do the endeavor. So I am now going to scout and show more of the board. But that was a good exercise to show you what happens. And I am going to add this one over here. And over here is a spider here. This is a hostile territory. This only comes into effect when you are running or panicking through these tiles. Not when you're doing a scout action. And just to make this a little bit easier for you, I'm going to have these face down. So that is him done. Moving over to our gamer over here, I am going to do a endeavor action since I'm doing fairly well with the dice rolls lately. So let's see how he goes. He gets a 4. So excellent. So that's another one over here. And I'm also, because I ran earlier, I am going to do a rest action. So when I do a rest action, I can reduce my heart rate by 1. If you ever do a rest action on a base camp or a tile with another fireplace, which you can do with matches and some kindling, when you rest at those spaces, you do reduce your heart rate by 2. Okay, that is the end of my turn. Now we move on to the drop bear phase. Scar comes and enters play, and we'll have a look at his priority card over here. This helps us target our victims in the Aussie bush. So his first one here, the camper that is furthest away from the base camp location is targeted. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're a draw, so we move to the second priority tiebreaker, which is the camper suffering the least number of wounds. Well, we've both got 0 wounds, so we're a tiebreaker here. So now it moves down to the third target, which is the next camper clockwise from the survival expert. The survival expert is the person with the first play token, so the board gamer is targeted in this case. However, if I choose to, I can discard a survival point and discard 2 random utility cards. It's just when you play a solo game, you do get 4 utility cards, which I forgot to give myself at the start of the game. I have myself an esky, a park map. An esky allows you to expand your inventory. Park map allows you to expand the location of your single tile. A meat pie. If I decide to eat a meat pie, that also gives me 1 additional action point. And last one is a radio. So it does require batteries. And if I have batteries, I can then discard any number of batteries and get survival points. So, okay, so he's going to go target me. He's going to drop from his profile card, or in this case, say a tree, lands on my card. I can now choose to either flee or cop some injuries. And just keep in mind too that this number here is his attack dice. So he's going to roll 4 attack dice. This red section is only in play in the later stages of the game when the night is darkest and they're getting more ravenous. So in this case, and to discard, we need to discard 2 random utility cards. You know what? I think I can take a bit of injury from him. So you know what? I do have an esky. I am going to get rid of this meat pie. It is random, isn't it? It did say it was random. So let's just do that, shall we? I'm going to discard this action point over here and turn this around and give it a nice little shuffle. Just to show you what happens when you do a flee action. So that is gone. Oh, I really like the park. Oh, both really good items too. Yeah, that's a bit of a shame. So we'll put that into the discard pile. Let's just put that over here, shall we? So No, excellent. So I successfully fled from Scar, move over to this tile here. And he flees back to his own profile card. So that's the end of his turn. We move again the survival tracker. We get another action point each. We do. The survival first player token now goes to the tabletop gamer. Now it is my turn. I am choosing to do a endeavor action. So let's see how well I go. No, I fail on my endeavor action. I cannot do it twice. It does say here, choose a single die roll by this camper. You may change the initial result to a result of your choosing. That's fantastic, except I only got 1 survival point and not 2. So I am now going to do a run action and explore more of the Australian bush. I'm not going to go this way. Oh no, however, when you do run, you do not actually run into spiders. It's only when you do a panic. So I'm going to run this way. Oh, for the sake of why risk it? So I'm just going to go this way. So going past this spider here, there I'm doing a run action. These spider icons don't actually hurt me. It's only the rocky terrain when you're running and you're tripping over logs. I'll move over to here. I do have a search icon on here and a backpack. You can search as often as you like through the course of the game. However, if I do decide to use pick up the backpack, I do need to expire that action there, so it's been done. Which I will do on his turn. I am going to grab another utility card. Over here, I have a GPS that needs batteries. And I'm going to put an expiration token on the backpack here. However, I am playing with another expansion, the old Brucey expansion, which is indicated by up here. These utility cards inside that expansion is actually playable in the base game, which I've actually done here. And it's such a shame that the 2 that I expired, that was another one there. It's an Eskin. This little indicator over here tells you there was only 1 in the entire deck. So I won't get a chance to pick that one up again. So, and in case of the park map, it's got 2. So I do have another one somewhere in that deck there. So I lost 2 fairly rare cards. Maybe I should have taken the wound and risk it for the biscuit and roll those attack dices. Lesson learned here. Okay, let's see how we go. Okay, so his actions are now done. I did an endeavor tile and I ran across. I've got to raise his heart rate by 1. And now it is Bluey's turn. And in Bluey's case, I'm going to do a scout action over here. And I'm also going to do a search action. So I'm going to go over here and scout over here and roll a dice. Sorry, not roll a dice, and do a search action. It simply means I just pull in the utility card over here. And in this case, energy drink, any utility cards that Bluey or the child collects through the course of the game is added to your communal pool. Be mindful that the most utility cards you can carry is 5, unless you had the Esky, which allows you to expand by 2. Okay, that's the end of Bluey's turn. Moving on to the Koala phase. Now, lucky us, we have a plus symbol here. So, over here, we have a plus symbol, and that tells us not only do we drop per Scar enters the fray, we do also spawn another koala. There we go. Let's see which one that is for us. Flipping this one over, it is Feral and Cheryl. Mama bear and her baby. So here we go. Or it could be Cheryl could be the baby, and then this could be a mama and dad named Feral. So, and it could be the other way around too. I haven't read the back here. Maybe I should. This is probably a good time to actually show you. Now, at the back of this instruction booklet here, the Platypus Industries, the designer of this game here, the publishers, actually gave us a nice little bio for each of the players in the game. Be mindful that I did back the Kickstarter, so Bluey in the solo game isn't available in the base game, and so is 2 of the other sort of characters, which I believe was the medic and I couldn't tell you what the second one is at this stage. The Garbo Man, I think. But however, here are little koalas here. Let you know who Blinky is, Mongrel, the Howler, Scar, and Feral and Cheryl. So you can read the bio here. And if I had read the bio, I would know which one is Feral, which one is Cheryl. I like to think that the Feral is the child and Cheryl is the mum. So I'll find out later when I read the book to see if I'm correct. In order of how to play these drop bears, you start from the top and you work your way down. In this case, Scar will be the first one to be activated. So in Scar's case, and again I made the mistake of having two characters on the same board at the same time. This is not advisable, particularly during the drop phase of the game. So in this case, the camper that is furthest from the base camp, we're a draw here. The camper suffering the least number of wounds, which is neither of us have suffered wounds at this stage. The next camper counterclockwise to the survival expert. In this case, it is Bluey. But be mindful that even though Bluey is targeted in this order of priority, we're both on the tile, so we both do actually get attacked. And it's not, and the attack values aren't shared between us. So let's roll the attack dice. And here we go. We have a blank, means that nothing actually happens to us. We do have a heart rate, so we each raise our heart rate, and we roll 2 of those, so we each raise our heart rate by 2. And we also cop a wound, a critical wound, which is a 2 here. So we both cop a critical wound. Ouch. And just be mindful that Bluey does die in this game. It is one of the losing conditions. However, we can't afford to lose a camper. We cannot afford to lose our companion. Now, Feral and Cheryl joins the fray, and the camper that has suffered the least amount of wounds. So, we are square there. Least number of wounds, the camper that has the greatest number of medical items. Medical items here, that at the base of the utility cards, you do have a item here that tells me that it's a food item and that's to be discarded once it is played. This one here tells me that it's a utility item and that this puzzle piece means you need another card in order to play this one. In this case, we need batteries. And I've got another puzzle icon and utility and a food icon here. So, and we move on to the third priority, which is to play counterclockwise from the survival expert. If they're both on the same tile, they both get attacked. I'm interested to note if 2 drop bears can drop on the same location. So I'm going to say that it does. It just makes sense that it does. It's just unfortunate for our 2 individuals over here. So we have an opportunity to flee if we choose to. We can discard a survival token. And after any other campers flee, attack any adjacent camper. So we could sort of flee, and considering the other adjacent campers, does that also mean that they attack us? Any other adjacent attackers. So if we flee, they attack somebody else. If we flee twice, okay. So considering we got no other adjacent tokens, she won't actually attack anybody else. Looking at our scale, you know what? I think we can risk it. We can, and by landing on this, considering we haven't actually used this as yet, I'm going to say that we can complete. If we land on here, we can, heal 2 wounds. And in this case, let's see how we go. Okay, we're going to risk it. Done a lot of talking. Okay, we've got 1 blank and 3 wounds. So, and that's 3, and that is 3. It is a successful flee, so we're just going to move together. Considering I did miss that opportunity earlier, I'm not going to act on that later. It just feels like I'll be cheating otherwise. So, there we go. However, there is a plus symbol to get a survival point token, which I failed to give Bluey when he did complete that. There we go. Cool. I'm going to actually move together over here. And he can go over here. And I'm going to put the board gamer over on this one over here, because there's a nice little reprieve token here that allows me to reduce my heart rate by 2. Considering I did a successful flee action and there are no adjacent campers other than the 2 of us that we've already fled from, she returns back to the bush. However, Scar is still here. So moving on to now Bluey as part of the game. Now it is his turn. He is going to do a oh, and by the way, whenever you do a flee action, it's considered as a scout move, so this spider hostile territory here doesn't actually hurt me. So I'm going to move over here and do a scout action. Scout action, and I'm also going to do an endeavor action. So I'm going to roll the dice here. Got a 5, fantastic. So grab another exploration token, put it over here, and just be mindful it does say draw 2 utility cards, so I may want to use a utility card prior before actually grabbing 2 more. You can use these utility cards anytime during your turn. So I'll move the tracker down by 1. Okay, and that's the dog, the finished. I'm now going to use the board gamer here, the tabletop gamer. I'm going to use a scout action, move over here, give myself some distance away from Scar. And actually, I'm going to do a run action and actually run across over here because I don't want to be on the same square as blue when I do an endeavor action. So I move over here and I choose to do an endeavor action. By the way, I do raise my heart rate by... Oh, sorry. I used the reprieve action that I forgot to use just before to lower my heart rate by 2. And as I ran across, I raised my heart rate by 1. So here we are, and I do an endeavor action. So we got a 6, so we have completed that, which is fantastic. I get another survival point onto my card, and it really pays to read these before I complete them. Draw 3 utility cards and add any food items to your inventory. Discard any remaining cards. So I'm going to actually use my meat pie and get another action point. Just be mindful, I am also nearly dead, so if I die, I do lose all my survival points, so it'd be in my best interest to spend those when the opportunity arises, and draw 3 and keep 2. So whatever I have here, I can only keep the food items. I've got the survival guide here, Vegemite toast, which I can keep, and the torch, which I cannot. So there we go, and these ones over here get discarded. There we go, and I am actually going to discard the Vegemite toast and get another survival point because I may use his special ability here to re-roll, and I want this poor guy to survive. I don't want him to go out so quickly, this poor little gamer. So that is his turn done. He was the first player token. So now it is, and Blue has completed his turn. And the Tabletop Gamer has completed his turn. So now is moving on to the koala phase. So here we are. So first we look at Scar here. He cannot actually get to Bluey. He's one tile too far away, so he goes back to his profile card. Over here, symbolizing he's on top of the bush. And over here, Feral and Cheryl comes into play. So be mindful here that she does have 3 priorities here. In this case, the first one is the one with the least number of wounds. I'm at 5. Bluey's at 5 as well. So we're equal on that front. The camper with the most medical units, we are both playing a solo variant, so you know that'll be a tie as well. So we're going to move on to the final one, which is counterclockwise to the survival expert, which is Bluey. Okay, do we have a woo, okay, cool. Okay, so Feral Cheryl lands on Bluey here. And this is going to be interesting because I've only got, well, I cannot tolerate another hit, and he doesn't have a reroll. So I immediately have to play the survival token in order to flee from Feral and Cheryl and move to an adjacent location. And I'm just going to move over to this one over here. Sorry, I'll move it down so you can actually sort of maybe see the pieces. Not sure what it looks like on your end. And according to that, then she attacks the adjacent camper. Attack an adjacent camper. So I'm going to assume that I do have an opportunity to flee if I choose to. And that is also discarding a survival token and then fleeing. But unfortunately, I've got nowhere to flee to, so to speak. So I'm actually going to take that wound. And I've got plenty of survival points here, so hopefully it rolls well to my favor. I do raise my heart rate by 1. I've got 1 blank and I cop 2 wounds, which will be enough to kill me. So I am going to choose a single die, roll by this camper. Oh, okay, I can only do that only on 1. So I am not going to survive this no matter what I do. So unfortunately for this little camper here, he has succumbed and has died. He loses his 4 survival points. And to my knowledge, I think the utility cards stay in, do also get removed. Moved from the game. So unfortunately, I draw another one at random, and in this case, I am, oh wow, the tech support. So let's put that on 0 and put her tracker on 0 at the base here. I draw 4 utility cards, 4 new ones. I've got the billy can, which allows me to discard, and battery items, which would have been useful for my radio and my torch. I've got some matches, so hopefully I get some kindling so I can do a campfire and I can use my billy can a little more effectively. But no, I have the ration pack, which allows me to get 2 action points or repeat a primary action twice. Matches works with the campfire, which so I need a kindling in order to light that up. These are the batteries that operate the GPS and the torch. And this billy can here, if I discard, gives me a survival point. But if I'm sitting by the campfire, I get an additional survival point when discarded on a location with the campfire. Cool. Getting some food into my body. So the survival token now moves over to Bluey. Yes, Bluey. So anyone that's paying attention, fantastic. Cool. Okay, so Feral and Shovel stays on the board. Bluey's over here. I'll look for Little Miss tech support from the collection of cool little tiles I've got over here. There she is. She starts at the base camp, which is over here. I roll the dice to determine which direction she's running to, which is a 3. So we draw an extra tile. This is considered as a panic action. So that means any rocky terrains and hostile environments, she does get injured. Oh wow, that is just unlucky for her. Not only does she raise her heart rate by 2, she also is on a rocky terrain, which gains it by 1. And this is the camper entering or through this location suffers a drop bear attack. She stumbles into a drop bear nest, which brings Scar into the play just as she decides to start. Okay, let's roll the dice on this. Okay, she cops 4 wounds and a heart rate. So I can see I didn't have any survival points to flee. That now puts her onto 1, 2, 3, 4 on a 5 on the wound tracker, and raise her heart rate by 1. So just as she enters the game, she cannot cop another wound, otherwise she will die, and she's only 1 panic point away, 1 stress point away from actually panicking at this stage. So sorry, Little Miss, little tech support. Okay. And as we move on to the dark part of the game, however, we do get 2 survival points. So maybe I could have fleed. And 2 more for you. Okay, this game's going to get interesting very quickly. Okay, so both koala bears are on the table, and they do have a range of 2. So I want to get myself out of dodge and get as much distance between me and Scar and Feral and Shell as much as possible. Okay, we have Bluey, who's the first player here. And where he is going to do a run action over here. We're going to do a run action, so we can move over here to do a run action. We do have a hostile terrain here that only affects us when we're panicking, such as you saw over here with the tech support. And this year, endeavor card, draw 3 utility cards, discarding any food items. Oh, okay. Cool. And you know what? I'm going to do an endeavor action over here. Wait, second 1 and 2. I'm still needing 1 more card, so I'm going to do a scout action on this one. So here we go. I'm going to do a scout action. This raises his heart rate by 2. Oh, that is fantastic. Okay. Okay, he raises his heart rate action by 2. So I've landed on here. I raised my heart rate by 2. I do have an opportunity to pick up the backpack, which I might just leave for this lovely lady over here. And also keep in mind too, because I did a run action, he does actually raise his heart rate again. So that is fantastic. So awesome. I am going to use the action on here to pick up the backpack, which then expires this token over here. And now I'm going to run in a random direction. So decided by the D6, which is a 4, which I'm going towards this way, and you draw 2 tiles. And because I am panicking, I will any rocky terrains that come my way. And over here, last one, and as I'm running, because I didn't actually land on this icon here, that doesn't actually affect me. over here, I'll land onto a reprieve tile. This, to finish your panic, you do roll down, reduce your heart rate by 3. So here we go, and I'm on a waterfall icon, and do I want to use it to reduce my heart rate again? You know what, I will use that icon there. So put an expiration token here, and I reduce my heart rate by, there we go, by 2. Excellent. Okay, now it is tech support's turn, and unfortunately she's so close to panicking at this point. So, and I've also got to be careful that when I do a run run actions don't hit hostile territory, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a run action over here, which does increase my heart rate by 1, which then also makes me do a panic. That's hopefully I don't roll a 6 and run back to Scar. Let's roll it in there. I get a 5, which puts me tech support. My goodness. Okay, here we go. And I run towards the to the drop bear. And just out of curiosity, let's see if panic yada yada. Reduce your campus outright by 3. I'm not too sure. I don't think you can actually land on a tile with a drop bear to my knowledge. So so this is where she stops. However, she can still be targeted by the drop bear. And she reduces her heart rate by 3. 1, 2, 3. And was there any rugged terrains? No. So she doesn't actually hurt herself, but she will get the attention of Feral Cheryl over here. Moving on to the koala phase of the game. Now that we're into the red section, we do actually, now this is now in effect, so they're going to get a lot more ravenous, a lot more nasty. So starting with the top card over here, 1, 2. Oh my goodness, tech support. We were trying to run away from drop bears, not get closer to them. So she does get the attention of Scar over here, and I do have a survival point to discard 2 random. And just be mindful too that after you do your panic that your turn does end there. So at that point you can't actually use any of oh, that's interesting, your turn does end. So technically I couldn't have actually used that backpack since my turn did end there. So I'm going to give myself those 2 extra panic attacks. There we go. And use the meat pie and the batteries. There we go. Throw these aside. Yeah, that was a successful flee, and I am going to move over to the base camp over here. Base camp ran towards where there was light, but unfortunately the campfire does not offer her any reprieve, as now Feral Cheryl now targets her. In this case, I need to discard a survival point, and she attacks any of the adjacent attackers in this case. There is none. So I'm going to get rid of this survival point over here, and she successfully flees. So I am going to go, and just keep in mindful that when you flee, it is considered as a scout action. So again, this hostile territory over here doesn't hurt me. I'm going to go this way, away from Bluey, because there's a lot more friendlier stuff over here compared to this sort of nastiness over here with the heart rates and yeah. So okay, there we go. Now that's the end of tech support. Did actually survive. I don't know how, but she did. That's fantastic. So she had to flee from poor Scar, and in the process of doing so, she panicked right back into the drop bears. She got attacked by Scar and Feral and Cheryl. So moving on to the camper's turn. Bluey is the first player over here, and I am going to do a. Can I afford to do a run action? Then I'll raise my heart rate by 2 if I land there, so that will put him into a panic state. So I'm going to play it safe, and I am going to rest. And I'm also, other than rest, there is one other action that you can do, which is a wound. So when you heal, taking the heal action uses up the camper's entire turn, reduce your camper's wound by 1. So I am going to do that. You know, she's pretty safe all the way over here, so I am going to heal myself. And that's the end of drop bears, just for the sake of, there we go, here we go, yay! Cool, and these actions here, one is a bark, which scares away the drop bears, the other one's a guard dog, which protects the camper from landing into a hostile environment, And following your nose allows you to spend action points to either search a location or do an endeavor move, which is either to resuscitate a camper if they are unconscious or to use the endeavor action on the tile. Moving on to our friendly tech support that tends to attract more trouble than she's worth. I am going to do a... I want to get some distance, so I'm certainly going to... I can't afford to run. So... oh no, I can afford to run, and it will just raise my heart rate, and it won't hurt me. So, you know what? I'm going to run over here, and that will raise my heart rate by 1. And then I'm going to do a search action over here. So, here we go. We got Minty's discard. Discard to get 1 action point. Other campers at your location reduce the heart rate by 1. So maybe it was a good idea for the 2 of us to be together, at least to some respect. Discard, and you gain 2 action points, or otherwise repeat a primary. Discard, you gain 1 survival point for each camper at your location from you. Point for each camper at your location aside from you. Gain 1 survival point if this card is discarded on a location. So that's actually no use to me unless I'm at a campfire or with another person, and matches is only good if I had killing. However, I am going to actually get rid of these minties because I want to get some action points. In this case, I need to use that to do some spending later. Okay, so that's the end of the camper. We're going to put the first player token back over the tech support, which I don't think I've been following. Now it is the koala phase of the game. Considering we are more than range of 2 away from the drop bears, they return back to their card. So does Scar. So that is fantastic. So we get some, not get attacked and get some rest, a well-needed rest from these drop bears. I move across, and under here tells me I get another 2 survival points per player. So let's move this over here. Just keep in mind, as we're playing a solid game, I do need 7 survival points at the end of the game. 2, 4, 6, 7. So, and we're getting closer and closer to the end of the game. It is her turn, and you know what? I am going to do a... I think I'm going to rest. I think I am going to do a... You know what? I'm going to do a search action. And no, I am definitely going to heal this turn. Okay, I can't afford not to get hurt. So it's such a shame I completed this so early in the game and none of us were hurt at that stage. Okay, moving on to Bluey. And what is Bluey going to do? You know what? I am going to actually sort of... he's going to heal this turn as well. He is, but before I do that, and in my turn, do I want to discard anything? Nope. So he is going to heal this turn as well. That was a quick turn. Woo! Okay, moving on to our drop bears. Okay, starting with Scar, and he likes to target those who are furthest away from the base camp. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That leaves us with our poor little Bluey. So Bluey over here, he has an opportunity to discard a survival token. And to be honest, I can't afford to get hits. If I get 3, he could even panic and then run blindly into the night. And considering there are some blank ones here, I can't risk him not getting himself hurt at this point. So, and I do have the survival points to spare, so I will actually get rid of this survival point. And considering some of these utility cards, like the matches is useless to me at this stage with no killing, and I'm not near a campfire, so I think I can afford to lose 2. Hopefully, and the ration pack only works if there's 2 people at the same location or a campfire. Let's see how we go. We lose the matches, we lose the billy can, we keep the ration pack. So, oh, the ration pack is actually the good one. Sorry, I get 2 action points or repeat a primary action, so good for me. And so he flees over here, and however, because he landed on a heart rate, he does increase his heart rate by 2. Woo! Okay, let's roll the dice to see who he's going to run to. Hopefully he doesn't run back to this poor little drop bear again. And see where we go. It's a 2. So we're going this way. So hopefully he doesn't get himself too hurt along the way. Here we go. Oh, let's make it nice and neat, shall we? Over here, so that's 1, and to finish off his panic action, and let's put it over here. And over here, so fortunately for him, he didn't run over any, as he was fleeing any of the hostile territories or rocky terrain, so he cops no injuries. However, his heart rate goes down by 3. So he's survived this encounter with Scar. Feral and Cheryl is now active. The camper that has suffered the least number of wounds. So again, poor little Bluey is targeted by Feral Cheryl. And again, he can't afford to actually get hurt, so he's got the survival points. So I am going to flee, fight another day. There's no shame in that. So, and because there's no other attackers around him, he can actually now move. The question is which area. You know what? I'm going to move over here. He can afford to raise his heart rate by 2. Woo, I'm not sure if that's going to be healthy for me. I'm actually going to draw a card here. Let's expand the map, and hopefully it's nothing hurtful. There we go. It's a rocky terrain, which doesn't hurt me because it's a flee action, which is treated like a scout action. So he's good at this stage. Cool. That's the end of the drop bear phase. Moving on to our friendly campers. The friendly token, first play token now goes to our friend Bluey over here. Okay, we only need to survive one more encounter with the drop bears, and we sort of, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we've got just enough survival points, so we can't afford to spend any survival points. Okay, so what am I going to do here? I am going to do a run action. And so here, I'm going to do a run action over here, and then that will bring me to the base camp, which then, which doesn't necessarily help me too much. However, but it does give me some distance with the bears over here, and then I'm going to do a rest action. So I'm going to run over here, which increases my heart rate by 1, doing a run action. There's no rocky terrain, so I don't actually get hurt in the process. I do a rest action. When you do a rest action on a base camp, you actually lower your heart rate, not just by 1, but by 2. And so that is what I'll do over here, which brings him down to 0. Moving over to our friendly tech support over here, she's going to do another search action. She is. And GPS, which is useless to me without batteries. And I am going to... I can't afford to spend any survival points, but however, I can discard the ration pack and get 2 more action points. Just make sure we're free and clear, way past the 7. And and that is the end of the tech support's turn. And Bluey, moving on to the final phase of the game, when the sun is rising, the drop bears have one last opportunity to attack us. Good news is that we are outside the range for Feral and Cheryl, and we are also outside the range for Scar. So we survived the night. That was our last turn. I don't know how we did it. I don't know how tech support made it this far, considering the bad start that she had. But the good news is we survived the night with the drop bears. Let's have a look at our win conditions over here. So we move the death tracker over by 1, which I forgot to do earlier, because we did lose a camper, which we can afford to lose a camper. And we haven't lost 2 campers, so we haven't exceeded the number of players. In this case, we're playing a solo game, so we can afford to lose 1 camper, which we did. We lost Tabletop Gamer fairly early in the game. I can't remember if he actually made it to the second stage, into the late phases, but hey, tech support made it through. So over here is the survival points, and in our case we needed 7 survival points in order to finish. We have 4 over here, and our tech support over here, our greedy little tech support, has 5. That brings us to 9. So we did survive the night. We can call ourselves survival experts, because not only did we survive the night with the drop bears on our own, we looked after a little injured little Bluey that we found in the bush. So, and we've got enough survival points for the rescue people to come and rescue tech support. And as we're flying over the bush, we could hear Bluey howling away, and we were able to land and take Bluey into our Bluey as well. So what a good day. This has been a good run for everybody. So thank you very much for getting through this this second solo playthrough of the game. Any real mistakes that I've made, please leave them in the comments. So the game is Drop Bears, published by Platypus Industries, and I believe it was designed by our friend Matthew Asling. So he's going to be at the PAX in Melbourne. So if you're in Australia, you want to come and see the publishers and designers, going to PAX in Australia is a good opportunity to meet them, and I do recommend them to meet them. They're quite active in their Discord and very good with their updates in terms of their Kickstarter that this was backed a few years ago. Thank you very much. Have yourself a good one, and chat soon. And just for a bit of fun, just hold. Let's bring our little ambulance over here. Okay, so we survived the night. We've got enough survival points. We've clocked over to 9. A little paramedic. We survived long enough for the paramedic. Somehow just happens to be out in the bush at this time of night, roaming around. You know, they heard our GPS, you know, clocking our location, and you know, goes over to the little Bluey. He was howling in the night. Let's not run over Bluey, shall we? Let's just reverse back and reverse park. There we go. We get Bluey into the back of the paramedics. We both survived the night, and away we go. Hopefully we've learnt our lesson that the Aussie bush is no place for tourists.